I know that what I'm about to tell you will make everyone upset. Creating half-assed automations won't make you any money. What I'm about to show you usually costs thousands of dollars. It will tell you exactly how to first build production-level automations, second, start a business out of it, and then third, how to find your first client. Right now, what you're building sucks if you cannot make it usable by a company or by a person reliably and sustainably. Now, what does that mean? It means that your automation doesn't break with the slightest user input error, with the slightest update from OpenAI, like with ChatGPT 5. That will cause trouble because they won't trust you anymore and they won't pay you either. So, this is the 20-minute AI business roadmap. First, let me go over solutions-based thinking versus problem-based thinking. Because if you're the kind of person who just made their automations and think it's great and awesome, good for you, right? That's solutions-based. You made a solution, but are you solving a problem for someone? That's the first thing to figure out. Problem-based thinking is when you have a problem and you design and think of a solution and you build it. Because what I see mostly these days is that people make some automations and make a nice workflow and it fixes some kind of problem for someone, but usually they don't think about how to sell it to that person because they started from the solution, from experimenting N8N, instead of talking to the audience, talking to the target audience, instead of talking to the niche, doing some cold calling for research purposes. Be like, hey, I've got a solution I can make. Is it interesting to you? What are some things that you guys find an issue in the work that you're doing? So, first of all, in this nice drawing that I've made, there's 3 ways. And we start at the left, at the top left. Let's assume you have built a automation or a solution, and it's a workflow that is an automation of a normal workflow, or you have some kind of a workflow where there's an agent or multiple agents involved in this automation. Or it could be a chatbot on a website, or an Instagram DMs or Facebook DMs, or a voice agent when it comes to calling people who have signed on in some kind of survey, for example, or cold calling if you're not in the US, because cold calling with a voice agent is kind of forbidden in the US. Or just a general software as a service, a CRM, an ERP system, whatever it might be. Now, whatever it is, once you've built it, here is my 7-point production level checklist. It's the most important things to check, but it's not all of it. So, first of all, comprehensive error handling. If one single step in your entire automation goes wrong, do you get a notification, for example? Or does nothing happen and you don't know about it, but your client will know it because they sent a message to the chatbot or to the agent, or they did, signed in someone into their CRM system, which is supposed to trigger something, but the trigger failed. Do you get a notification of that? Or instead, do you get a angry business owner who calls you or emails you or texts you, hey, it doesn't work, and now they want their money back, right? So comprehensive error handling, most important thing on this list. Then secure credential management. Are you using their credentials or using your own credentials even in a responsible manner? Then logging and monitoring. When something does go wrong, do you send this information to an error table or to another kind of database where it's all kept records of what went wrong, how it went wrong, when it went wrong, right? This is the second most important in my opinion. Then we get environment variables. It's a bit more late game in my opinion, but it is very important nevertheless. Then clear and concise documentation, not just for yourself in the future, because you build an automation, you set it live, and then maybe 2 months later you get back to it because you want to update something. And now you're like, oh wait, I haven't touched this in 2 months. I kind of forgot what this is about. So you end up wasting time. And another level to this is that if you expand your team and you get someone else to be the technician on your team and you just focus on sales, for example, they won't know what's going on because you didn't do the proper documentation. So you struggle with a team member who isn't performing as good as they can, you'll get frustrated with them, but it's really your own fault, right? And also, if you're dealing with a bigger client or like a corporate client, they want their tech guys to also understand what's going on. So I would say this is number 3, especially as you get more and more clients. Version control, very important, because when you update your workflow and maybe it turns out, hey, this causes new problems, you want to be able to roll it back to the previous version. So then the company or your client can continue using it and you can just keep on testing it in the development phase. And then user-friendly notifications. Have you ensured that if your client or an employee within the client's company gets a notification, that it's speaking their language, it's friendly to them, and it isn't just that you understand it, but they actually understand it and you checked it with them, that this is the language that they understand. So, more practical example of this is that if the entire process has happened once, does the business owner or the manager in that company get a notification saying, hey, we just ran this process, this and this and this happened, you have saved this many minutes? Or does it say, hey, process done? And depending on the company and of the person receiving the notification, you want to tailor it to how they would like to see it, not to how you would like to see it. Now, this is the 7-point production level checklist. It covers a lot of the basics, but not everything. So it's just a simple version of my more in-depth guide on this in the school community, which is the 23-point checklist, which is way more deep diving and covers all of your needs up until you reach around $40,000 to $50,000 a month. And maybe your automation is 3 steps and you might think, oh, that's easy to understand. But believe me, you will get annoyed several weeks and months from now trying to figure out, how did I build this again? Whereas if you can just quickly read it in a few sentences, you just save yourself a lot of trouble. So now that you have the automation up and running and you have checked it against the checklist and now you kind of know how far along you are, I'm assuming you now have a production level automation, which is great, but that's just 1/3 of the way there. So let's cover the next part. Now we gotta go cover the business basics, because yeah, you made an automation, it's a workflow, it works, it has error handling, it has all these other things we've mentioned thus far, but no one knows who you are. You don't know who you are yet because you don't know how you're gonna sell it, and you don't know who you're gonna sell it to either yet. So we gotta cover the business basics, which means you gotta have a name. Don't think too long about this. No one really cares, especially the first 3 clients won't really care. Becomes more important afterwards, after first 5 clients, let's say, for the reputation and the image you have as a company. Branding to a degree, 3 colors that you'd like, pick some kind of a font that you would like as well, and go with it. You can build a website using bold.new, for example, or any other type of website builder. And the infrastructure. What is your tech stack as a company, as a business, right? So maybe you're using N8N. Then, okay, what else are you using? Well, you probably need Airtable too, or something that's similar to it. Okay, what else are you using? Well, maybe use Telegram to communicate with clients, or maybe you decide to use WhatsApp instead. It all differs, or just email. And why do you even need a tech stack? Because you need to know what you're paying for and not paying for, because it can get real messy if you don't. I've talked to people who are paying $300 in their tech stack, but not even aware of it. So out of those $300 a month, turns out around 180 is on stuff that they don't actually use anymore. So they're overpaying by $120 a month. So they're wasting this much money a month. Now, depending on where you are in life, that's a lot of money or very little amount of money, but either way, it adds to your overhead as a company, which is not good. You want to stay lean, as it's called. Lean. That means that you only use what you need. You're not paying or spending time or spending a headspace on things you don't need, but things that you might want. But they're not really adding to getting your first client or getting your next client, really. So those are the business basics. So you should have a name. Let's say AI Transformers, just to name something, right? Then we have a branding. We use the colors blue, red, and white/black, depending on situation. Our font will use the, let's say, Black Lives font, because it shows modernism and it fits the brand. Great. Now I can go and build a website. Don't spend more than 2 hours on this. So under 2 hours. You can do it really easily. I have a guide on this in the school community as well. Website. Cool. And then the infrastructure. So, well, I would suggest, highly suggest, use Notion. And in Notion, you can build pages. So you can build a page called Tech Stack. You can build another page called Roadmap, where you map out what do my next 30 days look like? What do my next 6 months look like on the personal development front and the AI automation front? Because don't underestimate, if you're going to sell something to someone, you need to be charismatic, persuasive. You need to know how to handle a sales call, how to handle objections, how to explain and educate people, because we're in the AI space. You have to educate your client. There's a high chance they don't know anything you're talking about. So you want to be able to speak and educate them in their language, not your language. If you tell a business owner about APIs, you've lost them. Congratulations. Now they're confused and they're going to buy from you. If you say like, hey, we use these connectors to connect our automation to your CRM, and that way we can make the automation. Great. Now they get it. You connect things with a connector. That's all they need to know. They don't care about APIs or the tech stack or whatever else it is. Only if they ask about it, or only if they really seem like, a CTO, for example, who wants to know about these things. So these are just some of the business basics that you can go for, right? So roadmap, tech stack, that's the basics. Because if you want to sell something to someone, they want to see your digital card, let's say, which is your website. They want to know who you are, what vibe they can get from your website as well, and what you have to offer. We'll get to that. So business basics. So next up is the one-page offer. Who do you sell to? What's the value of it to them, not you? What's your offer? What's the pain it relieves for them, and what do they gain out of it? What's the bonus you're offering? And of course also urgency. There's more to it, but these are the basics. You have created a agent. Just gonna do it like this. That can do all email management, so it can read emails. It handles calendar management, and it also takes care of sending a daily calendar, or a daily message to the user. So daily reminders, let's say. Those 3 things, right? So what does it tell you? You're selling to someone who is very busy, who doesn't have time to check all their unread emails. Their email inbox is overflowing. There's like at least 5,000 emails in there, unread. Calendar-wise, they keep missing appointments, or they keep missing opportunities because they just have 10 different calendars. They don't check all of them all at the same time, etc. Right? And daily reminders, a daily to-do list, a daily checklist, a daily reminder to do this or to do that. So busy people is one of those people you're selling to. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you translate it to business, who is busy? Executives is one of them. C-suite or below it. B-suite perhaps. Executives. So C-suite or B-suite. Could be managers, could be department heads. Okay, who else? Business owners who have smaller businesses, but it would still help them out by saving them a lot of time. For now, let's assume these 2, right? You can think of a few for yourself. You want to go with the niche maximum 3, and not more than that. 1 is fine too, because you got to test this if it's actually true. Then, what value does it have to them? Well, the value is they save time, and they save on stress, on errors, as in they don't forget to be somewhere, or they don't, how would you say, they lower the chance of them not responding to an important email that might actually make them more money, right? And intangibly, but there's probably a way to calculate it, it will increase the revenue because they spend less time on email and calendar management, which means they can spend more time on more important, as I call it, high value tasks, which have a better return on investment. The activities that they're able to do now because of this time saving allows them to do way more important things instead. Now we also know the pain and the gain because it saves some stress and errors and it gets some more money and also saves some time. What's the bonus? The bonus is you will add one more feature for every person who signs up. So one more feature tailored to them at no extra cost because people love attention. What's the urgency? You will offer this to 4 people and 1 spot is already taken because it could be someone that you'll do it for free, family, friend, you name it, because you do need some initial data points to work with. It isn't you. So there's only 3 spots left. Because now, if they sign up, they get one more feature for them. If they're not one of these 3 people, if they're not one of these 3 spots left, now they feel urgency because they would like one. It was like, hey, I would like a verse from the Quran or from the Bible. Hey, I would like for you to have some kind of a YouTube transcript bot so then I can send a YouTube link and it can actually summarize the video for me so it also saves me time, right? So this gives them more reason to actually respond to you. Now, there's more to this. It's the 1-page offer. That is a template I have in the school community. Link down below once again. But these are some of the basics that cover it already to get you started. Now, we need to figure out how we're going to reach out. And for this, we have the big 4, as I like to call them. So, you've got warm outreach. If this is your first client, this is your first option. Cold outreach takes a lot more time, at least 5x, let's say, right? If you send a message to a family member or to friends or to former employers even, like, hey, I have decided to go into this AI thing because you might have heard a lot of things about it. This is my first project and I'd like for you to test it out. It's, once again, you go back to your offer. It helps you do this, 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 and this. It helps you gain more time, gain more money, and it saves your stress errors and saves you time wasted on these mundane tasks. And if you sign up as one of the first 3, I will build out 1 feature for you to your liking, if it's reasonable to make. And there's a high chance they'll already respond to it because they know you know the bond with them, they know what you've done for them in the past, whatever else it is. And that's how you can do it. You can also do LinkedIn. People on LinkedIn that you've worked with before, reach out to them. Be like, hey, how are you doing? Oh, nice. Yeah, I recently got into this AI thing, by the way. I made this new AI thing that will actually be able to respond to your emails and your calendar management. There's some other ton of cool stuff. And I'll even make you 1 feature that you would like to see, but only for the first 3 people who actually sign up for this. Does that sound interesting to you? Yes or no? If they say yes, great. What is a feature you would like to have? And then you can decide there if it's reasonable, yes or no. Maybe it's too much work, maybe it's enough work. And then you build it for them for free at first, right? Free work. This sounds horrible to a lot of people. It is not. You might have heard of this. It's called the learning years and the earning years. Free work is you learning so that later on you can learn how to earn. That's how this game goes. Don't be arrogant and think you need to make money right away. You're not there yet. You need to become more expert at these things. So the how is also free work. Now, if it's someone who you reach out to warm and they're like, hey, I want to pay you for it, then okay, you can go for it. But there's a high chance you'll fuck it up because that's how free work goes and that's how your first 3 clients go. You will make mistakes. However, how you come back from these mistakes is what will define you as a business owner and entrepreneur. That's a big thing to keep in mind. So, having said that, cold outreach, once again, another thing you can offer there as a bonus. Hey, I'll do it for free for the first 3 people. After that, I will be charging $100 a month afterwards or something else, right? So then, let's say $100 a month after these 3. So that's the equation we've got here. Warm outreach first, most important one in this entire list. There's probably someone, Get over your shame. Get over your, oh, but I'm scared I'll fail. You will fail. Assume you will fail. How you get back from it, however, is the difference. People will love you for it if you're transparent and honest with them. Don't say, hey, I built this for 5 people already and I can make it for you too. No, it won't work. They'll see right through you when they work with you for the first time. Then you have these other options. Cold outreach and paid ads, I would say, are your next best option. Paid ads will cost you money. It can be a big sinkhole of money, or it can be your one-trick pony where you'll get clients in the first day. It's not a sustainable and secure way to go if you don't have any money to invest. So I would say cold outreach, besides warm outreach, is your second best option because it will get you results. I would highly suggest for AI cold calling because no one does it. If you can do 50 conversations, that doesn't mean you had 50 calls in one day, 30 didn't pick up, and now you're done. No. 50 actual conversations people actually picked up, okay? That's the most powerful one in my opinion, despite popular belief. Because also it will teach you rejection. And rejection you're gonna have to go through as an entrepreneur anyways. So you might as well do it the hard way because it's way faster. You fail harder, you fail faster, and that will make you and enable you to win and succeed faster as well. So, cold email is another good one because you can do this at scale, which means you can create an automated email outreach system that will outreach to 100, 500, 2,000 people a day and will do the work for you. All you need to do in order to get that is to create a good copy, to get the correct emails that are actually active and enriched if possible, etc. There's more to it. Twitter or Instagram can work too, but it's kind of together with personal brand a little bit. Because if you have an Instagram with 100 followers or a Twitter with like 50 followers and no profile picture, no authority, low chance of getting a response. But if you've got a verified account, you're posting actual value every single day, you have a well-organized profile, and you post content, so personal brand, that's a different story. That could work better, a lot better. So cold calling is my first suggestion, especially because it's free. Email second, but it does cost some money, but not as much as paid ads, depending on how you do it, of course. And of course, paid ads, Facebook and Instagram is the way to go. Usually, it depends on what your solution is. It depends on who you're outreaching to. So, having said that, personal brand is the long-term solution because it will take time to get responses. One of my mentees in my mentorship program, he started making TikTok content, and with his content strategy, he got lawyers to respond to him, health coaches who are already doing over $50,000 a year. And he simply used TikTok. Now, I wouldn't recommend TikTok unless, like him, you are using a good content strategy because it's very difficult compared to Instagram to get someone from TikTok to buy from you. Instagram has more tools and has a different audience that is more willing to buy from you than someone from TikTok. Services-wise, product-wise, TikTok is better. That's one caveat. So personal brand could be anything from, like I'm doing, YouTube or Reddit. That's what I also do. Responding to people, giving value, etc. You can do the same on Twitter or X as well. But I would say it really depends on your offer and who you're reaching out to. If you're reaching out to dentists or to accountants, TikTok might be less interesting to them than YouTube or vice versa. It really depends, right? You have to do the market research. You can ask Perplexity AI, because Perplexity is really good at doing research, better than GPT, etc. Hey, what platform does insert industry use a lot, right? So if they're a medical spa, they probably use Instagram. If they're a restaurant, they probably use Instagram. They don't use YouTube, right? If they are a law firm, they might be using YouTube or TikTok. Who knows? Depends on your area, depends on your industry, depends on what you're offering as well. These are the big 4 options you can go for. Whereas warm outreach is my first suggestion, right? Write a good copy here too, because you need a good copy, whether it's a conversation with a friend or with family, whether it's reaching out on LinkedIn to someone you know that you worked with in the past, whether it's emailing a former employer. You need a good email copy because they will ignore it otherwise, right? Same goes for the cold outreach. You need to have a good copy. Paid ads, you need to copy there too, because what's going to be in your ad? Are you going to say, hey, my name is John. I got into AI. I made this little agent. No one cares. No one cares who you are, right? But if you say, hey, want to save time? Want to increase your revenue? Here is an AI tool I built that you can use that will have a feature for the first 3 people who sign up for free. Way better. You get responses with that. People love it, right? Same goes with the cold outreach. Hey, my name is John. I'm sending you this email because X and Y. And would you like my tool, maybe? No. Hey, are you suffering from wasting time on reading emails and planning in calendar stuff? Do you want to make more money and save time and save stress on not missing those annoying discovery calls to improve your business? Here's a tool you can use for free for the first 3 people who sign up. I can guarantee you will get more replies to this email, right? So copy, very, very important. I teach this also in the school community. If you're interested, link down below once again. So this covers all of the roadmap. So to summarize what we went through, this is the roadmap. This roadmap is based on solutions-based thinking, not problem-based thinking, which is what I would recommend. Solutions-based usually works less well. So you have built or are about to build your own automation or solution. That's the what of this whole equation. So then you need to compare the solution to the 7-point production checklist or the 23.1 if EMS school community. Now you have a solution and a product or service to sell, depending on how you look at it. Now the why. Why would they work with you? Because you are this business with this branding and you use these types of tools to do what you're doing. Okay, why would they take your offer? Because your offer is very clear, very concise. They know what they get out of it. They know what it costs them, which is nothing for the first 3 who sign up. You know who you're targeting and you know what problems you're solving. And you also offer a bonus with the urgency, of course. And there's more stuff, but once again, these are the basics. Then the how. How do you do it? Well, you're going to do free work because you want to learn, not earn yet. That's not how the game goes. If that hurts your ego or you're arrogant, congratulations, you're not a business owner. You're just an employee who's arrogant. Good luck. So, 4 ways to do it. I recommend warm outreach first. Second, cold outreach. Then, for long term, for longevity, use a personal brand. Will take a few weeks and months. Well, soon will take 6 months to get any reply from anyone because it takes time and you will make mistakes along the way. But only having one of these, well, only having cold outreach or paid ads or personal brand can work, but I'd highly suggest warm outreach only, and only if you have outreach to everyone that you know, then go for cold outreach plus personal brand, in my opinion, because personal brand costs nothing, doesn't cost you any money if money is an issue for you. Warm outreach, same. Cold outreach depends. If you do cold calling, you're fine financially. If you do 500 emails a day, it will cost you $100, maybe $200 a month, depending on how you do it. Paid ads will cost you money anyways. Paid ads is something later on in the game. Unless you already have a business or you already have capital to invest, then it might be a good way to start with paid ads. That's fine too. So that is the 20-minute AI business roadmap. Do with this what you will. Use it to your benefit. It's not rocket science. If you want to get more in-depth help on this one-on-one, or you want to get access to the more deeper dive resources such as the checklist or the one-page offer, or more information on this way to outreach to get your first client, then you can sign up to the school community, $10 a month, 7 days free trial, and a link is down below. If not, this all is not rocket science, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.